Okay, so today we're going to be using the Back to Blooms polymer stamp set, and I love this set. It's so nice. And one of the great things and unique things about this stamp set is that the stamps are all double-sided, so you can stamp the back and get your solid colour, and then stamp using the normal side of the stamp and get your detail. So as you'll see on here, I've stamped the back and then I've stamped the front, and you get this really quirky look because it doesn't completely line up because it's not a symmetrical pattern, but it looks really good. And we're going to be using the technique that we have on here where we stamp twice, so we get the bolder, darker colour, and then on the second stamp we get a slightly lighter, more muted colour, and we're going to do that for the leaves and for the flowers. So what I'll be using today is I'm using 3 different colour stamp pads. I'm using Bumblebee, Cinnamon Cider and Misty Moonlight. And to start with, all I've done is get myself a 5x7 card blank, which is scored and folded down the middle. I've cut a piece of Cinnamon Cider cardstock, just slightly smaller, so I've cut it at 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, and we're going to stick that on there. And then I've cut a piece of white, plain white, basic white cardstock, just down slightly smaller again, so that's at 6 1/2 by 4 1/2, and I will be matte and layering those up. So let's get started with our stamping. So I've just got some basic white cardstock. I'm going to use my stamping tool just to make things a little bit easier for me, and I'm going to pop my white cardstock in here, and we're going to start with the larger flower. So I'm going to position it like this, and I'm going to make sure that I've got the smooth side facing down onto my cardstock. Just pick that up, and I'm going to apply Bumblebee. This is a great yellow because it's a really kind of mustardy yellow, and mustard is one of my favourite colours. So just have to make sure that we're getting the whole stamp covered, even the centre, and stamp that one down. Okay, then I'm just going to turn my cardstock around and do a second stamp. Lovely. Give that a clean. Then I'm going to place my stamp over the top of that coloured section, making sure that I've got the stamp the normal way around. Then I'm going to go back in with my Bumblebee, stamp up my image and stamp it on. And because I'm doing a first stamp with this, I'm getting the darker colour come through. Now for the image that I did with my first stamp of Bumblebee, I'm going to use Cinnamon Cider so that I get a darker image on there. So let's just pop Bumblebee away, and let's stamp up with Cinnamon Cider and pop that over the top. So we're getting a good impression, and then just clean my stamp off. And there we are. Okay, so next we're going to leave that open because I'm going to use that again in a minute. We're going to do the kind of half opened petal. So again, I'm going to place that on my stamp tool with the smooth side facing down. Pick it up, go back to our bumblebee, to our first stamp of bumblebee, turn the cardstock round and do a second stamp. Okay. I'm going to place my stamp down over the top of my image, pick it up again, and this is the lighter one, so I'm going to go back in with bumblebee, stamp over the top, clean the stamp off, turn my paper back around and go in with cinnamon cider. Keep wanting to say cider. Okay, and pop that down. So we've now got 4 flowers, quick as that, ready for our card. Okay, take that one out. Finished with those colours now, so I'm just going to pop those away, and I'm going to move on to the leaf. Now I think I'm going to go for the larger leaf, so I'm going to place that down, smooth side down, pick it up with my ink pad, and I'm going to go in with Misty Moonlight. Stamp it. Okay, again, I'm going to turn my cardstock around and do a second impression. Going to clean off my stamp. So I'll do a bit of clean part of my cloth, place the stamp over, pick it up, and this, the darker leaf, I'm actually going to just go over with the same colour. So I'm just going to go back over with Misty Moonlight, re-stamp up my, ink up my stamp, and there. Now 2 leaves probably isn't enough, so I probably should have stamped some more, so I'm going to find some more space on my piece of cardstock. Stamp up and that one, and again turn the cardstock round. So I'm going to move it over a little bit and do my second print. Clean it off, place it over the top, ink it up, turn my cardstock around, ink up my stamp, and there we have it. We now have all of the elements for our card. So I'm just going to clean off this stamp, pop my card out of the way and pop that away. So next, what we're going to do now is we're going to just fussy cut. There isn't a matching die set with this one, so we're going to fussy cut around each of the flowers. So you don't need to watch me cutting them out, so I shall come back to you once they're all cut out. Okay, so I've cut all of my stamped pieces out. I've stuck my mat and layers onto my card base, and now is time to start having a little bit of a play with how we want our card to look. So I want one coming out, then I'm going to have, let's have a look, we could have a leaf coming up here. Just having a bit of a play so that it looks like it's a flower blooming. Okay, and I'm pretty happy with that. Now, some of these I'm going to stick above others. I think I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals, or I'm just going to, I think I might just glue them down flat. So I'm just going to use some roller tape, and I'm going to try and, this one is definitely at the bottom, so I'm just going to stick some there and pop that back, just holding these ones in place and pop that one back in its place. Okay, and then we'll take this one, just pop that one back in there. Then I'm going to go for this one up here. Pop him back behind there. One coming out there. Then I'm going to go for this one. Pop him back there. He needs to go under there. Put this one down. And just that one to go. So I'm just going to tap him. By using the tape, it allows me to kind of feed everything under. So that's looking really nice. What we need now is to decide on a sentiment to use, and I'm going to use the Many Messages Cling stamp set, which is a stamp set from the new catalogue that launches on the 4th of May. And this is a lovely rubber stamp, and it's one big stamp that stamps lots of sentiments all at once. So I've already stamped this, and I've already cut out one of the images. So let's have a think, which one do I want to use today? I think I might use just a card to say hello. So I'm just going to cut that one out and I'll be back with you. Okay, so I've cut out my sentiment, just a card to say hello, and I'm just going to pop some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of that, and I'm going to pop it right in the middle of my card. And there we have a very simple yet elegant looking, looks much more difficult than it was, and I hope you've enjoyed this project. So if you want to make this card for yourself, get hold of the Back to Blooms. It's available on the website now. There's a link below to my my section on the Stampin' Up website, and I mean, there's so many more stamps on here. We've got like the little delicate flowers here, and we've also got some tiny little buds that you could really expand this bouquet across the whole page, and it would look fantastic. Here's another version of the card that I've made where I used the Magenta Madness, just did the single stamp so that I got the really bright images on that one, and you can see how they look quite different, even though they've used the same technique and the same stamp set. So please click the link to subscribe and to be notified when I upload more videos, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.